Guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about insurance companies fraud. Fraud. Repeat after me. Fraud. Esta primera palabra es fraud en este vocabulario de algo muy cierto. Insurance companies fraud. El fraude de las compañías de seguro. Very corrupt. Very corrupt. Very bad, ¿ok? Pero este vocabulario te va a servir ahora bastante a ti y vamos a hablar de insurance companies fraud, ¿ok? What a shame, what a shame. Well, let's get started. Vamos a iniciar con la primera. Let's get started with the word, the adjective greedy, greedy. Míralo una vez más. Repeat after me, greedy. Greedy es el calificativo codicioso. ¿Verdad? Codicioso. Greedy. Those insurance companies really are greedy. Esas compañías de seguro de verdad que son codiciosas. Codiciosas. They take your money. They take your money. But when it comes to the real deal, they turn their back on you. Cuando ya viene la hora de la verdad, ellos te dan la espalda. Greedy. Those insurance companies are greedy. and if you work for an insurance company, I really feel bad for you. I really feel bad for you. Why? Because you know it. Okay? There you have it. That's it. Porque mira, si en trabajar para las compañías de seguro en los Estados Unidos, greedy, cuando tienen que pagar las cosas, no lo hacen. They're greedy. Es el primero, greedy, okay? Codiciosos. Now, number two, okay? Now, Californians are going through a very tough time. Go through. ¿Qué quiere decir esto? En algo muy cierto. Okay, the wildfires in California, los incendios forestales en California. Californians, los californianos, Californians are going through a very tough time. Pero ¿qué quiere decir esto en inglés? Go through quiere decir atravesar. Míralo. Go through. Californians are going through very tough times. Right? Esas personas en California están pasando por momentos muy difíciles. Why? Because of the wildfires. Go through. What is the past tense of go? ¿Qué es el pasado de go? Went. Okay, went. For example, Mary went through a very, very tough time when her mom passed away. Mary went through a tough time when her mom passed away. Como Mary atravesó. Pasó un momento muy difícil cuando su mamá falleció. Entonces recuerda esta primera frase. Go through. Go through, ¿qué quiere decir? Atravesar. Atravesar en inglés. Next one. Okay, let's say now, insurance companies, okay, they are turning their backs on people. They are turning their backs on people. Turn your back on somebody. Esta frase en inglés. Turn your back on somebody. ¿Qué quiere decir eso? Turn your back on somebody. Darle la espalda. Lo que están haciendo ahora estas insurance companies. They're turning their backs on people. Which is very, very, very shameful. Very shameful. Después de todo el dinero que te quitan, and now they're turning their backs on people. Están dándole la espalda a las personas. Esta quiere decir la frase, turn your back on somebody. Darle la espalda a alguien. Let's say, look, for example, when was the last time somebody turned their backs on you? When was the last time somebody turned their backs on you? ¿Cuándo fue la última vez que alguien te dio la espalda? ¿Cómo tú le podrías decir a alguien, hey, look, no me vayas a dar la espalda. Don't turn your back on me. Just like those insurance companies, como esas compañías de seguro. All right, okay? Turn your back on somebody. And number three, the government ought to. Esto, ought to. Repeat after me. Ought. ought to. The government ought to hold them accountable, right? Well, sorry. The government ought to hold them accountable. The government ought to. ¿Qué quiere decir esto? Ought to quiere decir una manera formal, debe. El gobierno debe de. The government ought to hold them accountable. El gobierno debe de hacerlos responsables. ¿Qué quiere decir la frase hold? Hold somebody accountable. Hold somebody accountable quiere decir hacer a alguien responsable, hacerle pagar por sus actos. The government ought to. The government ought to. The pronunciation ought. The government ought to hold them accountable. The government ought to hold them accountable. El gobierno debe de hacerlos responsables. ¿Y de quién estamos hablando? De insurance companies. Those insurance companies that, like, always turning their backs on people. Okay? Awful. De verdaderamente horrible. So let's go back to the video. The vocabulary for you. Este vocabulario para ti. Excuse me. Primero tienes, well, we're talking about insurance companies. The fraud. Ahora el fraude. Repeat again. Fraud. I really don't know why the government makes us pay insurance, like pay for car insurance, home insurance. I really don't get it. They're like very, very, very greedy and irresponsible. Son greedy, muy codiciosos, irresponsables, unfair, injustos. Okay. Now, greedy son codiciosos. They're greedy. Next, this I feel heartbroken for the people in California. Californians are going through a very tough time. Go through, atravesar. And then what they're going through, something very, very serious. Something very, very bad. And next, two. They are turning their backs on people. Turning their backs on people, dándole la espalda. Recuérdate, turn your back on somebody, darle la espalda a alguien. Don't turn your back on me. No me vayas a dar la espalda, all right? A voltearte. Don't turn your back on me. And number 3, the government. The government ought to hold them accountable. The government ought to hold them accountable. There you have it. That's the vocabulary. And I feel so mad, so angry now after watching news, like from California, these insurance companies just turning their backs on people. Okay, after they take all your money every month, they charge a lot of money for car, home insurance. Okay, there you have it. Okay, espero que te haya servido este video, hayas aprendido vocabulario nuevo. Si te sirvió, déjame ahí un like y un thumbs up.